Today we are going to take a look at the SM Pro monitor controller and how to use it to control audio playback in the room. The controller allows you to manage volume level, switch between inputs, and select which monitor speakers you want to be on and off. There are three available inputs for our control room. Input A is HD native, which is the sound card used for most audio software. Input C is the Mac built-in output, so that's for things like iTunes and audio that you're streaming from the internet. And input D is the mini plug cable, which you can use to connect to your own laptop or iPod. There are three switches that are used to select your input. The first switch that you want to look at is the middle input, which tells the controller whether you'll be using one of inputs A and B or one of inputs C and D. So if this switch is up, then you're using either input A or B, depending on whether this switch is in or out. If this switch is down, you're using one of inputs C or D, and you'll choose between those with this switch. So if you want to use input D, this switch needs to be down, meaning you're using one of inputs C or D. And then from this switch, you'll choose input D by pressing this down. If you want to use input C, this needs to be down and this needs to be up. And if you want to use input A, this needs to be up and this also needs to be up. In addition, you can choose which speakers you want to be on and which you want to be muted with this top row of switches. If the LED light is on, it means that the speaker is also on and not muted. Note that input A is the only channel that supports surround sound, while inputs C and D play in stereo. To the right of most of the switches, you'll see the volume control. This has 12 distinct steps that you can use to control the volume, as well as a -20 decibel pad button. There's also an all mute button right next to the volume control, which allows you to mute all of the outputs, and an in-wall speakers button, which allows you to turn on the speakers in the wall. Lastly, these two buttons allow you to turn your stereo or surround sound signal into a mono signal. Now you should be ready to use the monitors in the control room.